All right. Does that conclude the business meeting?
God, I hope so.
You know what? We've gotten feedback though about how everybody loves the business meeting. We should have recorded that whole thing. All right. You ready to go?
Sure. Levels.
Levels.
I should have brought this up in the business meeting. I've got a great idea that can get us lots of attention for the podcast.
Okay. Hey, that sounds great. I mean, we could always use more listeners. What are you thinking?
We're going to fight.
Wait, what?
Yeah, you and me. I'm thinking cage match.
Okay. A, no. And 2, what are you talking about?
Well, haven't you seen all of the coverage about Elon and Zuckerberg fighting? They're massive publicity for that. I think if we do the same thing, we could be famous too.
Okay, look, I want to see both of them punched repeatedly as much as anybody, but I think the fight is getting massive publicity because they're both already famous. They aren't becoming famous because of the fight. This is that whole correlation doesn't equal causation and all.
Yeah, you're probably right. Yeah, I think I kind of had the cart before the horse there. Yeah.
All right, well, you know what? I mean, keep bringing the ideas. Love that. But I'm also glad that we sorted this one out.
Yeah, I guess. I still want to hit somebody though.
Yeah, I know.
Hi, toddlers. Welcome to Talking to Todd, weekly podcast with Dwayne Johnson and Todd Prinz, where failure and fighting is always an option. Thanks for joining us. Hey, Todd.
Hey, how's it going?
Pretty good. How are you?
Not too bad. Preston had so much fun with the recording last week that he decided that he was going to fall asleep on my lap before recording this show as well. So, yes, he's taking full advantage of the Studio A naming rights.
Well, we're just building that listener base one set of ears at a time.
I'm going to pause. I don't know if you saw my message. You are really hot. You're clipping everywhere.
Thank you. Oh, that's not what you mean.
Jeez.
I wonder what's going on. Okay, so what if I back that back down? Is that a little better?
Yes.
It looks better on the screen.
That looks better on the screen. There was just almost big squares every time you were talking. I was like,
that's bad.
That's going to be a problem.
Yep, that's going to be a problem.
We say levels. We should use the levels.
Okay, so I'm now less hot than I used to be.
Aren't we all?
Okay. As if we ever were. I think we may have found the YouTube segment for the week.
Yep, that was the high point. Thanks for driving, everyone. Tip the waitresses. Okay. All right, where are we at? Okay. Yeah. Oh, by the way, just a quick follow up from the cold open. I came up with that cold open this morning, and then this afternoon I was told that it's entirely possible that Elon and Zuckerberg aren't going to fight because Elon's mom won't let him. So, anyway, I don't even know what that means, and I don't want to talk about him anymore. But seriously, like, pay-per-view, whatever. Like, as long as if they could both lose, like if you could tell me they were both going to lose, ooh, that might be worth some money.
Yeah, I'd be on board with that.
All right, what do we have for feedback, follow-up, and updates?
Amy got caught up.
Okay.
We did a time travel joke where we paused and waited for our future selves to show up.
When you say we,
you were in the room.
I mean, I was there and I was giving you space to work with. I was letting you. But yeah, on our podcast there was a time travel joke. Yes, I will stipulate that, Your Honor.
two items there.
Yes.
One, that joke never works.
Until it does when the time travelers show up.
Should we wait again? No, let's not wait again.
Nope.
Option and feedback item 2, there's this rip in the space-time continuum.
Yep.
In the other multiverse, do they have the G in the space?
Oh, man. I mean, in the multiverse, there's one that has the G but no space. There's one that has the space but no G. I mean, it boggles the mind of the options.
One of them has an apostrophe. Yes. Yeah.
One of them's probably talking to Dewayne.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. And two of them are talking to Eli.
Thanks, Eli. And according to some of the Spider-Man movies, it's entirely possible that there's at least one multiverse where both of us are pigs, literal pigs that can talk and do podcasting. At least that's according to the Spider-Man documentary I've seen.
Have you listened to some of our podcasts? We are pigs.
Yeah.
Let's see. The Sherry's porta potty story got multiple audible laughs about the guy leaping up, I guess, in the porta potty and chucking his phone out of the porta potty. Oh my God. It makes me cry just thinking about it. Thanks again.
I was surprised at that point that neither one of us didn't just say, "Hey, free phone." I mean,
that is a Jack Handy reference. And food truckers are stupid, but I'll have more on that later.
Okay. I'm not sure they're called food truckers, but I'm sure that didn't sound right, but whatever. That's 10-4, good buddy. Keep a lookout for the Smokies. The little Smokies. Have you seen them?
Yeah,
I'm missing them.
And she also wanted to know who actually originally said "Great Food Truck Drag Race," because she listened to the snippet that I tacked on at the end of last week.
Yes. And it was never uttered during that time.
It wasn't. We said it the following week in follow-up.
Got it. Yes. As I remember it, without having to go back and listen, I believe you were the one that coined. I believe it was you. I think that's 100%. That's a Dewayne joint, as it were.
I think you're probably right. I don't remember exactly. And I'd also need to hold on. The other request we had, we didn't put a footnote in when we were talking about the Great Food Truck Drag Race. That was episode 56. If you want to go back and listen to the original and then the follow-up in episode 57.
There we go.
There you go.
Going down as one of the classics.
Yeah. So there was that. How about you? Did you catch some feedback?
Lisa's been traveling a lot. I actually just talked with her about an hour ago, and she still hasn't even listened to her episode, let alone the subsequent ones, because she's been traveling, and apparently she has better things to do on the plane than listen to us. So she's got. I'm sure at some point there will be a significant amount of feedback, but at this point, no.
Which Canadian province is she stranded on the way to right now? I think she spent 10 hours trying to get somewhere this week.
She spent much more than 10 hours. Yeah, she's far. She's almost as far east as you can go. So she's 3 hours
and still be in North America.
Yeah, and actually she could go further. I mean, she could go further east, but she's about as far east as you can go. She's in a time zone past the Eastern time zone.
She's in the Atlantic time zone.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh.
So
I've got people that I work with that are Atlantic time zone. So then I have to account for Atlantic to Hawaii when I'm trying to schedule meetings, which is very difficult. I've got like a 30-minute window that I can schedule them and not create problems for two different people on opposite sides of the globe, basically. Sarah Judson Brown, toddler -18,
Yep.
who I want to remind you lives in Minnesota.
Yes.
She's requested more hockey content.
Okay. I think that's the first time we've ever received that, but we'll take note of it.
It's also the first time we've
The
provided
NH
hockey content.
Well, that's true. The NHL draft is tonight. Do you want to break down Connor Bedard or going first to the Blackhawks? No? All right. Never mind. No. Please. Actually, don't.
Let's watch the draft. I've got a great idea. Let's watch the draft and record the content.
That would be awesome. Who's this guy? When did they get a team?
You know, you can move a hockey team out of Winnipeg. Jets.
Yeah. No, those are some impressive statistics. Do you know what any of them mean? I have no idea.
No idea.
But those are big numbers, and I think big numbers are good.
Because it's not golf.
Stellar commentating there, guys.
Danny, my financial advisor, and the guy who suggested I sit on a board.
Yes.
I get this text this week. I made the podcast in all caps with 7 exclamation points. And then, so he was on a client trip driving, had a lot of windshield time. So he caught up. Danny, you may not be aware of this, but we've been warned that Talking to Todd is not bingeable.
We should probably put that on the downloads before you. Yeah.
But he did get all the way caught up. He can never eat from a hot dog food truck again.
You're welcome.
It's because we're professionals. Also, he requested a number.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. Yep.
We started out, he said, because I'm also 12, I'd like to be 1069 because he's also 12. And I said, well, you're my financial advisor. I thought you'd be toddler 401k. So thank you, Danny. Welcome to the toddler. Do we have a name for, I don't know, the toddlers. Welcome to the toddler. Yeah, welcome to the Toddler Nation, toddler 401k. There you go. Did you hear anything from Don?
No, I have not.
Toddler 1914? No.
Yeah, have not spoken. Haven't run into him out in the morning while he's out walking Wrigley. So nope, no feedback yet there.
Okay. And then the idiot toddlers, Doug texted me 2 different items. How many of those incidents, pee, poop, or puke, how many of each of those incidents do you think had to take place individually before they printed the sticker to go in the cab? Or do you think it was an evolving thing that they slowly added as it got through?
Yeah. I mean, good question, Doug. I mean, the original one, anybody who pukes in the cab, $200. That happens a couple times, you print it up. And then you're like, what is it? Oh my God. Because I didn't puke. Oh, all right, fine. Add it to the sign.
Pee or puke. Okay.
There we go.
Fine. Yes.
And then somebody's like, oh boy, sorry. Follow the sign. Yep. Yeah. The only thing that makes me think that isn't what happened is if that is what happened when I printed the sticker /sign, I would have left a row or 2 blank below all of the things that you can be fined for to make it much easier to add to later. Because at that point you're like, I'm not printing another one of these signs. Okay. Yep. I'm just gonna get a Sharpie and I'm gonna start writing crap down.
Right. Just Sharpie it in there. That's right. Yep.
What could possibly go on the sign? I don't want to know and I don't want to think about it, but I want to be prepared. This is a New Orleans cab. Are you insane?
Doug also accused me of planting the hockey question. He thought the entire thing was manufactured because you got it right.
Okay. Doug, all you have is our word on it. He did not tell me anything about it ahead of time, nor was there in the rundown. I mean, the rundown from last week said brothers hold record. He didn't. Here's the thing.
It's not like 2 weeks ago where I wrote out the answer.
Yeah, right.
In the rundown.
And the only way I can prove this, Doug, is think about it. What you're accusing Dewayne of is planting a question to make me look good on this podcast. When has any of that ever happened? And what would be his motivation for, given some of the crappy stuff I've made him guess? Why would he set up a softball question to make me look good?
We don't do that around here.
No. I mean, we set up the cold open, right?
Yep.
That's about where we set things up, and then the rest of it can be kind of a free for all.
Yeah, we're good for about 3 minutes of writing a week.
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe.
And there's people that are going, it takes you 3 minutes to write that. Well, gotta fire up Google Docs. That takes a while.
What do you do for the other 120 seconds? Well, the last 2 weeks, you've done 98% of the work.
Woo!
Oh. Did you catch any other feedback?
Nope, did not.
Okay. No corrections. Clean show. Apparently.
We'll get to that.
Oh, okay.
Actually, you know what? Since Doug brought it up, do you want to play it?
Actually,
I'm not 100% positive if this is an actual correction or not. I tried to determine whether it was or not, and I spent 5 minutes and said, well, that's enough. I don't care. However, you said something last week in the hockey segment. You said something last week that that Kyle or whoever, Brent Gretzky.
Yes.
You said he had 4 points. And I thought, are we talking goals or are we talking points? Because in hockey, you get a point, you get 1 point for every goal. You can also get a point for an assist, and they can give up to 2 assists on a single goal. So I tried to find out what the record for brothers in the NHL for goals are, and everybody came back with the exact same article, which is Wayne and Brent hold the record for most points by brothers.
Right.
Not goals.
No.
They may hold the goals thing too, but nobody cares about it.
I'm guessing that's correct.
Guess goals?
Yes, I'm guessing it is also correct for goals. Though, didn't the Lemieux brothers both play and both of them played more than Brent?
Almost everybody played more than Brent. But
That's fair.
The other thing, and now here's where we get in. Here's
You're welcome, Sarah. More hockey content.
75% of hockey, NHL hockey mascots have more ice time than Brent. Okay. The one thing in looking up all this, though, this was just a follow-up. If you talk about NHL points and you say, what's the record for points by brothers, and open it up, the Gretzkys are number 2 on the list of most points by brothers.
Thanks, Eli.
Yes. The Sutter family had 6 brothers.
Oh, yeah, that
actually,
yes.
Here's the wild thing. Not Mitch Williams. Here's the interesting thing for Sarah. Just there you go, Amy.
Here's the wild thing. Holds up a picture.
the
Sorry.
so Wayne and Brent had 2,857 points, with Brent putting in, oh, that was Wayne, and Brent had his 4. So they were at just under 2,900. 2000 and yeah. The 6 Sutter brothers together had 2,934 points. The 6 of them are only 73 points ahead of the Gretzkys. And no combination of any 5 of the Sutter brothers combined have more points than Wayne by himself. Yeah. Seriously, Brent, if you could have just contributed a little bit more, we could have had anyway.
Right?
So there you go.
Or if Wayne had played another season.
Yeah, sure. You know what? Just keep playing, Wayne. LA's nice, eh?
Either of those two things would have solved that.
Yeah. So anyway, there was the hockey follow up. Let's see. Oh, we've got quite a bit of follow up. What? Oh, you've got something.
Yeah, I said last week when we were talking about the e-bike at Costco.
Yeah.
I said $1,500. I don't know that I'm really ready to drop $1,500 a pop on an e-bike.
Yes.
So we went to Peoria over the weekend, and Lucas needed to go to Costco to get some stuff. And so I'm walking through Costco, and they had this e-bike. I'm like, oh, I should actually look at it in person rather than just look at it on the internet. But, it's marked down to $1,000.
Sweet.
So while I may not be ready to drop $1,500 on an e-bike, I am apparently ready to drop $1,000 on an e-bike because it came home with us.
Holy crap.
And when I'm done riding it on the 82-mile day, it will become Amy's e-bike, and I will go back to the 40-year-old Panasonic that I'm riding, and which I'm perfectly happy with and can get along fine with, because on a 10 or 12 or 15-mile ride, I can do the Panasonic without thinking much about it. But on an 82-mile day, Amy said, I would feel better if you had, a little more juice. And so I'm going to get some time in on the e-bike. I'll let you know how that turns out. We'll see. You're looking at me like I'm cheating.
No, no,
Dirty,
and we're no
dirty Peters. Go ahead.
No, okay, so we're jumping ahead a little bit to ToddCon 2 hot damn updates, and then we'll jump back to follow up. So I've had to, I think last week I said I had to go replace one of the rims on my bike.
Yeah.
It was supposed to be in today. I got a text today due to supply chain issues. It will be here on the 8th of July. So the road bike isn't in great shape, and neither am I right now. And I've been a little concerned about getting mileage in and everything else. And I know that, based off of our training, you've been a little concerned. I've been a little concerned. I see that we're handling this in 2 different ways. Me, I'm thinking I better look at the calendar and start figuring out how I can get a lot more mileage in, even on my non-road bike, because this is coming up quick. And you look at this and go, this is a problem money can solve.
Yep. And I will say, Danny and I were texting back and forth about it, because he's like, you guys seem really concerned about this. This is just a series of 10-mile rides.
Yes.
Hydrate.
Yes.
Break at the towns. Take some time in between and go do another 10-mile ride. This is not a big deal. Go get 100 miles in before the week. Are you doing the whole week? No. We're only doing 2 days. Oh, get 100 miles in before the week. You'll be fine.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, and here's the other thing. I mean, neither of us is in horrible shape, right? You work out all the time. I work out. I golf
And run in the winter.
and run in the winter.
94 feet at a time.
99. Well, yeah, you're right. It's like 54 feet because I'm running from C to C, or sometimes from the end line to half court. Yeah, it's like 54 feet. Rarely, occasionally I'll run 90, but not very often. Yeah, you're right. Neither of us is in. I just passed a stress test. You ever done a stress test?
I record this live every week.
Have we talked about this? Have we talked about a treadmill stress test?
We did, but that was off air.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
So you're okay. I had to do a treadmill stress test because my doctor wanted to know, how I was holding up now that I'm, in my mid 50s. And I'm happy to report I am in the 98th percentile of men my age on the treadmill stress test. And the only reason I was only in the 98th percentile was because I injured my knee in a backyard volleyball thing over Memorial Day weekend with my nephew who just graduated from high school and 4 of his just graduated from high school football playing friends and me and my almost brother-in-law Todd. In my flip-flops, I'm in the backyard playing this pseudo volleyball thing, and I'm jumping up and down and jumping up and down. And Amy is sitting over in the corner thinking, wow, old guy. Maybe that's not such a good idea. My knee is still kind of injured. And that's the reason I didn't end up higher than 98%. Anyway. Oh, hey, look, I was doing 98% of the work there too. There you go.
There you go. It is to be expected.
Sorry. It's total tangent there. Where were we?
Oh, don't worry. That was a tangent to a tangent.
It was.
This is where I wish I would have paid more attention in math class, because I'm assuming that there's a word for a tangent to a tangent, and I would have loved to have dropped it right now, but I have no. No, it's not. It's not an Eli. No, that's not it.
It's not an Eli. Okay.
All right. I think we got a few more pieces of follow up here. Let's see. Okay. At one point you talked about going to Daily Plaza and that you took a class in political assassinations and all of that. You go to Daily Plaza.
Actually,
Dealey Plaza.
Dealey, whatever. Sure. Okay.
Daley is the Chicago mayor.
Oh, yeah.
Dealey is the plaza in Dallas. Go ahead.
Thank you. Anyway, I was listening to a different podcast and they were referencing something and they're like, look, you have to go see it to believe it. And then the person says, it's like you read all the things about it must have taken an amazing shot around JFK. And then you go to Dealey Plaza and you go, oh, he was right there. Yeah, that all makes sense. And I was like, once again, talking to Todd on the front edge of covering this stuff. Speaking of Daily, you have an update about NASCAR in Chicago?
Yeah, that's happening this weekend. People are still not happy. NASCAR rented, we talked about this a little bit. NASCAR rented all of Grant Park for like 2 weeks for $500,000.
Yes.
Did you know that when Lollapalooza takes over Grant Park for a single weekend, they pay $2 million?
Yeah. But Chicago's also getting $1 per ticket. So that's not nothing. They're business partners with NASCAR.
They are losing their shirt. Which, on the lakefront in Chicago, seems about right. So, yeah, that's this weekend. And for anybody that was thinking about going to Taste of Chicago this weekend, no, you're not.
I was going to say, the people who are really, really mad about it aren't the people who are mad about it now and know about it. The people who are really mad about it are the people who are going to go there this weekend and show up and they're in the middle of a pit stall going, where do I get my brat?
Why is Taste of Chicago Busch Light?
Does that come straight from the river? Anyway, let's see. A couple of other pieces of quick follow-up. We mentioned last week, and we mentioned and then referenced the using your Apple Watch to as a shutter release for your iPhone, and we had fun with that.
Yes, we did. Some of us had more fun than others. Yes.
Yeah. So this week, while Lisa was gone, I was going back through some photos that I took on one of our trips to England, and I had done some long exposure shots on Tower Bridge to kind of get light trails.
Yeah.
And I've done this before with a big camera. And in this trip, I only had my iPhone with me. So I'd used my iPhone and anyway. And I'm looking at this and I'm like, oh yeah, I remember taking those. And then this is what popped in my head. And in order to take those, because I wanted this low angle to look up at the tower and get the light trails and the angle, the swooping angle of anyway, the phone was down almost on the curb on a tripod. And for a half an hour, I stood there with my watch taking photos using my watch. I'm like, see, I did know that. I did. I took like 100 photos with that.
You do know how to use it.
I do. I'm smart. I know how to use Apple stuff. And last bit of follow-up, we talked about Disney shutting down their really expensive the Star Cruiser hotel experience.
Yes, the one that cost you a small fortune.
Yeah, for a couple, it was $5,000 or $6,000 for a 2-night stay. There's lots of questions about what's going to happen with it, and Disney Parks Chairman Josh D'Amaro has made some comments. And what is interesting is, depending on which audience, his answer, it doesn't change, but he knows the audience. In an interview with, I believe, a fan site or at a conference for fans, when asked about it, he stated that, quote, something will happen with it. Well, that makes sense because, I mean, even if they don't do anything, entropy eventually will tear it down. So something will happen. But anyway, so some fan sites have said, oh, they're going to do something with it. Mm-hmm. Meanwhile, when he was at the 2023 JP Morgan Global Technology Media and Communications Conference, which is mostly for like Wall Street and investor types, he said, in both Q3 and Q4, as we accelerate depreciation on the Star Cruiser, we should expect about a 100 to 150 million acceleration in depreciation. He then had to clarify that was per quarter and that Walt Disney World expects to take a loss of between 200 and 300 million between now and the end of the fiscal year. Okay, wait, what? So we'll do something with it. Sure, don't worry about it. But to investors, we're going to write that thing off as a loss. Now, those aren't mutually exclusive, but if you're accelerating depreciation on an asset and then turn around and do something with it, I'm sure Disney has plenty of accountants and some really good lawyers because you're kind of not allowed to do. Anyway, good on him. Yeah. Hey, who's our audience? What story am I telling? Sure. Okay. Yeah. Don't worry about it. So, way to go, Disney. They know how to do storytelling.
I came in like a wrecking ball. Oh. No?
Good news is we're not going to get a takedown notice for that.
Nope. Just told them not supposed to sing.
That was singing? I think you're fine.
It was not. That's fair. Skip. Oh, Lord. That's right. That sound means it's time for America's favorite game. It's Dewayne, guess a number. Okay, hit me.
All right. We just talked about Disney closing the Star Cruiser because it was $6,000 for 2 nights for a couple. And you pointed out when we talked about that a couple of weeks ago that there's only so many really rich Disney fans who want to do that multiple times.
Right.
Disney heard you and said, that was our problem, and they fixed it. So they announced Disney Parks Around the World trip. Available for 75 guests. It is a 24-day trip going to 9 cities and 6 countries. It's going to start on July 9th in Anaheim, then go to San Francisco, Tokyo, Shanghai, Hong Kong, Agra, Cairo, and Paris before finishing in Orlando on August 1st. At each location, Disney promises access to extraordinary opportunities not available to the public, like getting into the parks before it opens. Exclusive tours of Disney studio offices and the opportunity to skip lines. Also included on the agenda are stops at 3 architectural wonders of the world: the Taj Mahal, the Grand Pyramids of Giza, and the Eiffel Tower. In order to get there effectively, this article says they're traveling by private jet. It is not a private jet. They are chartering a 757 from Iceland Air. It doesn't say whether it's a 200 or a 300 or how many rafts are on board, so they should probably, I need to follow up on that. The 757 will have a dedicated flight crew. Well, I should hope so, because
No
otherwise
kidding.
it's just volunteers. Hey, who wants to do the drink cart this time? It has an in-flight chef. That's the guy who's heating the burritos up in the microwave. 3 dedicated staff members. Yeah. And a traveling physician who probably has no openings on her schedule for the month of July. She's traveling, but you can't get into her because she's already booked. Anyway. And because they're traveling, again, it says on a private jet, it's a chartered jet. They can fly into smaller airports and then do direct flights. Okay. And in order to do this, there was an order of how you could even sign up. You basically, like, for really rich people, there's almost like Disney points. Like, you had to have gone on exclusive Disney trips beforehand to get access to it first, et cetera, et cetera. Anyway, with all of that, it's a 24-day flight going around the world, chartered Iceland Air 757. Dewayne, how much does it cost per person to take that trip?
All inclusive?
I mean, I guess, I don't know. I mean, Disney's nickeling and diming everybody at this point. There's part of me that just goes, I bet you if you look, park admission is not included because, they're just cheapskates. We'll say it's all inclusive. And if it helps, again, the Star Cruiser for a couple for 2 nights was $6,000. So that's $3,000 a person.
For
so
2
that's
nights.
$1,500 per person per night. And this is a 24-day trip. If it helps you to think about it in terms of how much per day.
Since you're coaching me in that direction, my guess is that advice is almost worthless.
Oh, I would consider it exceptionally worthless, but
Yes.
you looked puzzled, so I was filling the air.
I was
talking while you were
as I was
doing
trying to do
math
math
in
in
the
my
air.
head.
Yeah.
Okay. 24 days. Let's say $73,000 a person.
Oh.
A little less than $3,000 a day.
If you're traveling as a pair, it is $115,000 per person.
I thought I guessed an excessively insane number at 73 grand. Oh my word.
And you went way under. Yeah. That comes to $4,790 a day for 24 days. That is if you are traveling as a pair. If you are traveling as a single, you pay the $115,000 and then you have an additional $11,500 on top of that as the single surcharge.
But
and
that's okay because you're saving money by living in your mom's basement.
Wow. And being a good Disney experience, children under 12 aren't permitted. Although the recommended age is 14 or older. My thought is at $115,000 per person. I don't. Hey, can I bring my 8-year-old? Do you want to at that price? Anyway, so there you go. So the problem with the Star Cruiser wasn't that it was too expensive. It was that it's too cheap.
Clearly, yes. I wonder, does it say anything about whether or not it's already sold out?
Well, I mean, it leaves July 9th, so I'm assuming it is. Do you need me to send you the URL in case you want to jump? I mean, in theory, if you did the podcast from it, you could probably write it off. Now, that is also, you could also probably write off your marriage too if you did that. So it's, hey, Amy, I know I just bought the electric bike, but can I also?
As I'm wheeling the bike out of Costco, I looked at Amy and said, you know what? I can write this off. And Lucas, who's with us, says, wait, you can what? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So no bell there. Okay.
Nope.
Yeah, not close. Nope.
Nowhere,
not close
nowhere
enough.
near. Nope.
Nope. Oh, sweet Lord. Let's see. How about the Scott Frost Memorial Idiot of the Week? For my part, last week when I said I brought 2, I'm slowly ramping my way back up to 3.
Yes.
Amy said, no, you're not. So this week I brought none to balance out my average again. So this segment is all yours. Whoever your nomination is the Scott Frost idiot. So please.
Okay. So this one was either going to be in What I Learned or it was going to be in Idiots. And this is insane. So you know how we talked about, hey, by the way, this is from the Wall Street Journal, and it opens with, like many people, Kim Hae-young struggled with turning the big 5-0. Unfortunately, she'll have to do it twice. All right. I'll read. That's how you write an opening paragraph. So I believe today, South Korea, the entire country, is changing the way they calculate people's ages. Now you think, what do you mean changing the way they calculate people's ages? They are adopting what most other countries do. Is there another way? Yes. Yes, there is. Up until this change, the way your age is calculated in South Korea is that when you are born, you are automatically 1 year old as soon as you're born. And everyone gains a year on January 1st. So if you were born on December 31st, you turn 2 on New Year's Day because you were 1 when you were born. And on the second day of your life, you are now 2 years old. So the new law is going to switch everyone to the international age standard, which starts people at 0 on the day they're born. So the person who they started, she's going to turn 50 again in 2024. So it says getting older based on calendar years rather than birth dates is a remnant of an ancient culture in East Asian countries, which generally considered time spent in the womb as part of age. China and Japan shifted years ago. And South Korean President Yoon Suk Yeol, who took office last year, vowed to do the same on the campaign trail. Can you imagine? Vote for me for president so we can all get younger. Oh, that's just a politician. No, I'm serious. So anyway, everybody in Korea is getting younger effective today. the I understand it's culture. There's a lot to it, but what?
Uh, I remember when Lucas was playing like U8 and U10 and U12 soccer. And if you were born before August 1st, you played at one level. And if you were born after August 1st, you played at the different level. So every time the team moved up a level, they were playing some of the kids that moved up with them, but other kids who were like a year and a half older.
Yeah.
And the first year that they moved up, they got the crap kicked out of them every time. Particularly one year where we went and played winter soccer at Soccer House, and these were all U12 kids, right? They're U12. After the match, one of the kids on the opposing team walked out of the building and got in his car and drove away. That may not be with the league's record keeping. That may not be a problem with the league's record keeping. That may not, you know what? Never mind.
Technically, he was U12 at some point.
So we're
Somewhere he
so
was a U12.
I suppose so are we.
Yes, that's true.
Some weeks we're still U12. Okay, so there
And
was that. You watch anything good?
The Bear came back. We watched. We generally, when shows come out, we try not to like go all the way through them, like one or two episodes. I think it's entirely possible we could watch the entire season in one sitting. We watched two episodes the first night on Saturday. I think two episodes on Sunday night. So we got the first four in. Boy, it's just it's a good show. It's a really good show. And no spoilers. We might talk about this offline. Season 2 started feeling to me like kind of what Ted Lasso was doing with it doesn't all it this is an ensemble cast and you can tell stories about the ensemble. It doesn't have to be just about one person,
Right.
which is also a very interesting way of doing it. So anyway, that's what we're watching.
Is there mold in the building? There might be. Somebody should check that out.
Look, if there was mold in the building, when I hit this, it would just come crashing down.
If you're not watching The Bear, you should watch The Bear. It's really good. So we're watching The Bear.
Don't
We're
call
also,
mom. Don't call mom.
Don't
call mom.
Don't call mom. I'd call mom. Did you call mom? We're also watching the Great Food Truck Race.
Yeah. Which we did not watch. We did not watch this week's episode yet. So
Okay.
Yeah.
Last week you talked about how they just stay in Los Angeles.
Yes.
They know they're going to be in Los Angeles.
Yes.
As we're watching, Amy, will you people do some friggin' research? How do you not? You're driving around looking for a. How do you not know where you think you're going? There are no rules about. I mean, you're not just confined to this 3-block area. You can go anywhere you want to. How are you just seriously, people? These are the worst prepared food truckers in the planet. And it drives Amy crazy every week. They pull up, they look down. Oh my God, we're in a loading zone. Well, I guess we're gonna roll the dice. Seriously?
And you know what the producers are thinking? That's the exact. Here's what was music to their ears. Here's what they heard. Blah 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 blah. Amy watches every week. Blah 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 blah. Got him.
Also, if you're married or in a relationship, you should not open a food truck together. That's another thing that I learned this week. It's not
That's
recommended.
That's interesting advice, because there's a used car lot about 2 miles from the mile from the undisclosed location we have to drive past most days, and they've had a food truck for sale for at least a year, and we drive past, and Lisa's like, "Hey, we could always open a food truck," and I'm like, I don't. It gets 115 here. Like, I don't. That doesn't. No, that doesn't make any. Anyway, but
But
yeah.
but you don't have to spend any money on heating the grill.
Now you just throw it on the sidewalk and it takes care
Right.
of itself.
Yes.
Yeah.
Did did you learn anything good?
Well, so a month ago, our HOA sent out a notice that said they were so our we have a clubhouse and a pool and some tennis courts, pickleball court. Yeah, we got a complex and you have a little key fob to get into any bit of the complex.
You've got a complex?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. It's better than a compound. Yes, I see. Yeah. So we have these little fobs, and we've had this fob since we bought the house we've bought the house in 2017. So in May, they sent out this notice saying they were going to do a fob audit. I think he replaced Kevin Sorbo on the last season of
Fob audit?
yeah, fob audit.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah. Anyway, so they were going to shut off everyone's fobs, and in order to get them turned back on, you had to sign a new homeowner release statement, waiving that you can sue them if they whatever.
Oh my God, bite me.
And
Go ahead.
and they also wanted pictures of both of us. I don't whatever, I guess. So if somebody's walking through, the security people can look. I don't whatever. Although my legal thought was, I'm paying money to use the facility. If I don't sign your updated form and I can't use the facility, will you deduct? I don't want to go there. Anyway, so they say print out this form. Actually, they say these forms will be sent to you. The forms were never sent to us. Okay, so I finally go online 6 weeks later and say, so I go through all the documents, find the form. And then I think they say you can email them to the HOA address, and we'll take care of it. Well, I've emailed the HOA address multiple times, and it takes between a week and never for them to ever get the email.
That's a pretty good range.
Yeah.
Between a week and never.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Knowing that, and knowing that we probably want this thing turned back on, I'm thinking I should just go to the clubhouse, because we pay for a person from the HOA to sit there during business hours for reasons I still don't understand, in case people have questions about the HOA. I don't know, whatever. Now, the instructions said they actually wanted you to go into the clubhouse and fill out the form in front of the person. And they would even take your photos there, but both of us have to sign it, and Lisa's gone. If you can't do that, the secondary option was email. Okay. So I go over to the clubhouse and I go to drop this off, because I want to hand it to somebody, because I want them to see that. And as I'm walking up to the door, I realize there's a flaw in this plan that they said, which was, we're going to turn off the fobs on this date. After that date, you need to come into the clubhouse. You need to fill out the form in person, get your picture taken. We'll take care of it. And if need be, you can email it. And that is this. Every door to the clubhouse is locked 24/7. And you can only enter the clubhouse with your fob.
Yes.
Which is now turned off. So I walk up to the clubhouse, try to get in, and I can't. And I look at the desk where the person we pay to sit there all day is. They're not at the desk. I don't know where they're at. It's not that big of a building. It's got like 4 rooms in it, and there's no doorbell. So then I have to go back home and email them the form. And I'm thinking, all you have to do is simply come to the office and fill out the form that you can't get in. Anyway, there's the form. They said they received it, so at some point I have to go back over. But yeah, HOAs, just avoid them if you can. I mean, I've learned that lesson before, but it's a lesson you keep learning. How about you? What'd you learn?
So, as I said, we went over to Peoria for the weekend, hung out with Lucas and Hannah and his roommates in the house, and we went to dinner at a place called Cayenne, which is a Mexican restaurant. It Mexican food. And across the street was the 33 bar, which is in the old Pabst Brewing Company building.
Okay.
And this is not the first time that we've eaten at this restaurant, but it's the first time that we've eaten at the restaurant where this 33 room bar has been open. So when we were done eating, we went across the street and had a drink at the 33 bar, which is in the tasting room of the old brewery. This brewery closed in 1981.
Okay.
At the time that it closed, it was the fourth largest brewery in the country in Peoria, Illinois. And so you could take a tour, and when you were done with the tour, you would end up in this tasting room. And so they have restored it. It's really cool. I took some pictures I can send to you and I can post, but it is really cool. They have all kinds of historic PBR cans. It's called, the other thing that I learned, so I learned all of this, including the reason it's called the 33 room is that there were 33 different brews mixed together to form Pabst Blue Ribbon. It's not one brew. It was 33 different ones that they all mixed together to get the taste that is PBR. And Z, one of Lucas's friends, says, "Oh, so it's the hot dog of beers." Yes, Z. It's the hot dog of beers. Learned all of that this weekend. Some really neat history in Peoria at the PBR factory that has now been semi-restored to its former glory. I mean, it was something that I learned this week. The music is Happy Boy by Kevin MacLeod. You can subscribe to our award-winning podcast wherever you get your pods. Just search Talkin' and the number 2, no Gino space. You can tweet us on Facebook. You can stop by and see us at the Tuba City home office. Please don't do that. Thanks to our listeners and our sponsors, Toddler 3187, the Taylor Center for Technology Policy, and their white paper on how to use your watch, and DJ to go Cedar Valley, your 5-star DJ in the Cedar Valley. Educated Idiots is supposed to be back this week. I can't wait to listen to them try to remember how to do a podcast since they've been on break for quite a while. With that, we will ask you to always, as always, send your feedback. Send it to feedback@talkingtotodd.com. Todd?
According to the New York Times, from January 1st, 1982, that plant opened in 1934 and employed more than 700 people. The company brewed 10.74 million barrels of beer in the first 3 quarters through September 30th and posted a net loss of $2.5 million during the same period. My thought is, what they're not telling you is, and I saw according to this, they're like, of course we've got PBR on tap. My assumption is the reason why you open up an old brewery is, are those That's still from 1981. Yeah. Is there still beer in them? Well, it's kind of beer. You know, if we just hook up a pump, there's no way we can serve beer from 1981. People are going to notice. It is PBR. Good point. Let's put out a lot of salty peanuts. We should be fine.
They did get the blessing from the PBR people to be able to do this and use the old logos and everything in it. The only requirement is that they always, in perpetuity, have to have PBR on tap in the bar. And it's kind of a high-end cocktail bar now, and they make all these unique drinks and some mixologists behind the bar and this kind of stuff. But they've got PBR on tap. You're right. I don't know where they're getting
it. Next door is the 34 room where we use the really old beer. 34? I thought it was 33. Are there mold in these tanks? It's 34.
Oh, maybe we'll have stuff to clean up next week. Maybe it'll be beer. I don't know. Anyway, we'll be back. We're here. We're talking to Todd.
Apparently in the 50s, Pabst used a slogan, "What'll you have?" That's a bad slogan. Anything but Pabst. Oh, no, you asked. Kevin, come up with a better slogan.